Shall we start? Yes. Okay. So today's session is about what? So what was the topic of the prelim session today? Be Indomitable Conquer Prelims. So आजकल नया सोशल मीडिया टीम को हायर किया हम लोगों ने. So they are using all these hi-fi words. Be indomitable and conquer prelims. So how many of you failed to conquer prelims this time? Pura class, right? So like how many of you are going to give your attempt in 2023? First attempt. All of you. First attempt. Good. So others, you didn't clear this attempt, so you are going to give next attempt. So and you are here to seek the answer. How you can clear prelims. So if I ask the question, most of you know the answer, right? How to crack prelims? How to go on to crack prelims? Most of you know the answer. हमेशा ऐसे होता है, दिल्ली में लोग हंसते ही नहीं, मतलब बात भी नहीं करते, इतना सीरियस दिखते हैं और लंबा लंबा भी दिखते हैं, मतलब मोटा पतला लंबा, राइट? आधा क्लास पूरा चश्मा पहना हुआ रहता है, ठीक है? यू पीपल रियली लुक वेरी सीरियस. सो साउथ में तो पता नहीं, इज इट क्लाइमेट और समथिंग, हंसते रहते हैं लोग, कुछ भी बोलो हंसते हैं वहाँ पे, राइट? यहाँ पे हंसाना बहुत डिफिकल्ट है. सो इसलिए सब बॉलीवुड एक्टर्स ना मुंबई चले गए. शाहरुख खान भी. स्टैंड अप कॉमेडी दिल्ली में नहीं चलता ना, ज़्यादा मुंबई में चलता है. सो लेट पीपल सेटल एवरीवन, ठीक है? सो व्हेन क्लास भरा हुआ दिखता है अच्छा लगता है टू टॉक. It looks like you people are doing psychoanalysis. आजकल लाइक ट्विटर फॉलोअर्स भी आते हैं यहाँ पे, अच्छा लगता है. दे लिसन टू द क्लास, दे गो बैक एंड डू सम कमेंटिंग, तो हमारी पब्लिसिटी करते हैं वहाँ पे. सो राइट. सो कमिंग बैक टू be indomitable and conquer prelims. So can anybody tell me what went wrong in your 2022 prelims attempt? Yes. Yeah, you are not alone here. For how many of you CSAT went wrong? Yeah. Some are like hesitant, they don't want to. Good. So other than CSAT, what else went wrong for you? Okay, like silly mistakes, like I'll tell you, like please sit down. You knew the answer, you would have thought this is the right answer, then in the end you marked something else. That is one common thing. And you knew the answer, but before marking also, like you started doubting your answer, like is it the right answer? Then you started overthinking, and then you made a mistake. Sometimes for sure you know answer, but again something you become irrational and then you mark it wrong. So these silly mistakes, another reason. What about others? What went wrong? You didn't give many mocks. Yeah, people don't give many mocks. Even if they give, it is in the month of the auspicious months of March and April. So they choose these 2-3 months before prelims to overburden themselves and do lots of mocks. So that is another fault, another mistake. And another mistake is not giving mock tests in offline centers. Giving online mocks, that is also another fault, another mistake. So what about others? Of course, somebody will say didn't do multiple revisions. Somebody will say focus too much on mains till certain month, and then that is also one of the thing I have heard. And then someone will say focus too much on current affairs, not on static component. Didn't focus too much on static, so that also cost. So these are some of the reasons people keep giving that why they didn't clear prelims. Now what is the way forward? How will you go on to crack the prelims? Right. So what is the certain way of cracking the exam? I keep telling that people, whenever they tell that this exam is uncertain, this is unpredictable. I keep telling that there is a way forward, there is a road map where you can prepare in such a way that you can reduce the uncertainty, right? Best preparation is the best way forward to deal with uncertainty. So now how to ensure that the certainty increases, certainty of cracking prelims increases as you move forward into 2023 attempt. So what are the things that you must do? Not like you should do, there are certain things, so which I call non-negotiable things that you should go on to do to crack 2023 prelims. Now, when I came to Delhi yesterday also, many people are coming. Yesterday I actually calculated, I met 59 students from morning 9:30 to evening 9:30. I made a list also. In general, I used to tell I meet like 50-60 people. Yesterday, I actually counted. So among them, many were coming and saying, I didn't crack prelims, so I don't know what to do for 2023, how to go about it. And some were like telling the strategy also, what they are planning to do for 2023 attempt. So one or two samples that I heard is, sir, first 3 months I will focus on mains, focus on optional, right? And then next 3 months I will make notes for mains, and then from January onwards I will totally focus on prelims, right? So this is a dominant thinking that is present in the minds of most of the aspirants, that till December you will do something related to mains, optional included, and then from January onwards you will exclusively prepare for prelims. So this is a dominant thinking, am I right? This is what most of you may be thinking. Anyone thinking differently than this? You OGP student, na? Yeah, right. Why that thinking is wrong? First of all, to conquer prelims, to become indomitable, you have to overcome this kind of thinking. Now the way forward is integrated preparation, right? The way forward is integrated preparation for prelims, mains and interview as well, right? Now when I say something like this, I am not talking only from the perspective of giving you certain tips, suggestions only to crack prelims. Now though this exam is about giving you certain tips about how to crack prelims, but I would like to take this opportunity to talk also about how you can use this time effectively from July to next May to ensure that you also stand a chance to crack mains and interview as well, right? And that should be a dominant thinking, that should be the thought in your mind. So now, because what happens sometimes, one or two failures will limit our thinking, constrict our thinking. Let me clear prelims. So मेरी मम्मा पापा को दिखा दो कि so at least I have cleared prelims, right? So that thinking you have to overcome. You have to look at exam as one entity, integrated unit, and you have to prepare accordingly. So when I say integrated preparation, what I have noticed is that, so I keep speaking to students, so I love to do that, like direct interaction. So in Bangalore I do it daily, 40, 50, 60 students. Here also I am doing the same. Whenever I get an opportunity, I ask about their marks, previous marks, expected marks, right? So how much they are targeting next year, something like this I keep talking about. So post prelims, immediately after preliminary examination, I was talking to so many students. And the first ones to come are always these core batch students or OGP students or IPM, those who have enrolled for our courses. I started noticing that the students in core batch, right? So this is not like indirect marketing or anything, I am just telling the truth. So the students in core batch, almost majority of them have scored 110 plus in paper 1, GS paper 1 of prelims. Of course, many of them have failed in CSAT also, that's a different thing. I am just talking about paper 1 score. And again IPM students 100, 110, those who wrote most of the tests of IPM, or any other student who, if somebody had done frequent answer writing practice on a daily basis or weekly test or year long test series of any institution, if somebody had focused more on. And there is another category of student who were consistent with last 2 to 3 years of current affairs of preparation. Those who had read last 2 year current affairs might have given attempt, but they were consistent. That continuity with respect to updating the knowledge was continuous. Even those people have done well in prelims. Then I started seeing the correlation between answer writing practice and better marks in the prelims paper 1. Right. Now, if you are looking into the future next attempt, one thing, prelims and mains don't compartmentalize, don't separate them. Right. Answer writing on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, where you write answers on most of the topics and subtopics related to mains GS 1, 2, 3 have direct bearing on your marks in prelims paper 1. Right. Is it logical or illogical? Can somebody explain how it is logical? So I have seen many questions, like people have asked this question. When I said this, what is the correlation? Yes.
So I think that the syllabus is so wide, it gets difficult to refer to multiple sources. So the more questions you do, the more exposed you are to different pieces of information.
Correct. So you are more exposed to pieces of information. That is one argument. You will get conceptual clarity because in mains you have to describe, you have to explain, you have to analyze, right? So you have to put a concept and then you have to give example also, analyze also. In a way,
analytical abilities improve if we write more answers.
Analytical ability increases, but with respect to paper 1, what happens is your understanding of particular issue deepens and that stays with you for long duration of time. So in the prelims, when you are posed with 2 very close options within the question, so your mind can easily differentiate, easily can identify which is the exact answer if you have written something about it. Not note making, but writing answers based on memory in the classroom, wherever it is. So that is very important. For example, there was a question on Gaddar party, like, so 3 individuals they named and which of them contributed to Gaddar revolution or something. Now let's assume that you have written like 2 to 3 answers on that particular topic, right? So then you would have definitely collected like 5, 6 different names, the female contributors, the male contributors, Indian, foreign contributors. In that dimension you would have definitely known few names. So in that manner, ensure that, now that again thinking is that on every subtopic I will make notes for mains, which is good. You have to make notes on every mains topic and these 6 months are the time to do that. But along with making notes, ensure that you write answers for most of the topics. So priority wise, static topics first, right? So maybe you can use a test series, maybe you can use secure initiative also, where we have started mission 2023, every day we are giving 1 or 2 static questions that can be used. And another maybe previous year static question that can be answered. Now to have a better integrated preparation, it is better to enroll for a test series. I mean, whichever, that is up to your choice. Ensure that till March or April you write at least 30 to 40 20 question wala mains tests, right? So you can enroll to a test series or you can frame your own question papers, and then for example mission 2023, which is full free of cost, we give 20 questions, main self study questions with 10 questions. With that 10 question you can combine another 10 from secure questions, right? Maybe once in a week or once in 10 days you can bring those 20 questions, you can sit in the classroom and you can answer them, for which synopsis is also given. Whatever it is, ensure that this is being done, but do it in such a way that there is a discipline in it, not in a random way, right? So maybe you can start first week with polity or art and culture, ancient, whatever it is. So follow a timetable and ensure that it is integrated. Now what is integrated? One is answer writing dimension, right? So you have to keep writing answers. How many of you are doing regular answer writing? Okay. So what about others? So you're planning to do after this session, or so you'll start doing this, right? See, there is no, like, in between this session I will be talking little bit about the things I do well, the motivation thing, right? सुना है कि दिल्ली में लोग पसंद नहीं करते ये वाला, they don't like motivation thing, right? So here what motivation thing I wanted to say is that for those who haven't started writing, right, you are wasting your time. Literally, you are wasting your youth, your time, your energy, your money, right? The resources in Delhi, because there is no point in preparing for the examination if you are not doing the writing practice. Now, many people show the essay here, like whenever I come here, especially these OGP students. So I promised them I am coming only to evaluate their essays, and at least for that reason almost everyone is writing essays here. And some of them, she has written like how many, 8 essays so far? 6 essays she has written. Some of them have written like 3 essays, 4 essays, that is in the span of last 2 months, right? Now when I start looking at the essays, it depends on one's thinking, of course, the maturity, the thoughtfulness in the essay. One also depends on the efforts of an individual. If somebody has started in the, like, for the first time they have written some essay, it is always very basic, right? If they are not used to writing anything at all, even answer writing, essay writing, the essay they cannot write more than 3 or 4 sides. That is the way it is. Now if somebody hasn't initiated oneself to writing this, your level of writing is stuck at that level. If you do it in the July, by August it will improve, by September it will mature, by like January, February you are in a position to score, let's say 135 to 140 marks, going by the last year standards, if you take right feedback. So if you haven't started writing it, it is always stuck at that level. So now when people come after prelims, once you clear the prelims, you start showing the essay, the level of essay is rudimentary. Now it will take at least 3-4 months to bring that maturity. So what is maturity? The ideas, the thoughts, arguments, critical thinking, analytical thinking. So all these are missing in most of the people. And if you start writing answers from this moment onwards, right now, that gets matured, right? Your introductions will be better. I was just having the discussion about introductions. I was discussing with main students. So the introduction, people just write plain definition, they will quote some current example, some people repeat what is there in the question. But in the introduction, we don't see an effort of thinking that a candidate is thoughtful, right? He is able to think, that thinking aspect is missing. So what is thinking aspect? An idea, an opinion, right? The hint to entire answer, that particular statement is missing in the introduction, and it cannot be developed overnight, right? So that is why start writing the answer from now itself. Once you start writing, that its effect is not only seen in the quality of your answer writing, but also in your prelims scores as well, right? And people by IPM course, I have seen here, people by IPM, what they do is they either write only prelim test or they either write only mains tests. They skip the prelims part of it because of that thinking that after January I will start giving prelims mocks. Now we are giving an opportunity to come to the center, write prelims test sitting amongst a crowd, get that exposure, experience. So how many of you gave step up tests here? Step up prelims, very few. What about others? All of you are new to Insights? Okay. So we conducted something called step up mock tests here. So it used to be like completely filled with class, like 3-4 sessions. So many students who have cleared prelims came and told us that experience part, I am not talking about quality of questions, that was decent enough, but that experience of coming to classroom, giving test under pressure, sitting among the crowd, so was actually very good for them. So they were able to deal with actual exam like situation. So this if you do repeatedly for next 40 weeks, right, starting this week, if somebody has anxiety problem, fear problem of facing prelims, that will be totally addressed. That is one thing. Second is, these are opportunities to do trial and errors, experiments, right? To do more number of mistakes in these prelims mocks, so that you know that where exactly you are making more mistakes and what you are learning from all those mistakes. So you should be fearless, you should be courageous to make mistakes in these mock tests, experiment in these mock tests, and these 3-4 months are the right time to do that without any kind of fear. So you will be afraid to make these kind of experiments in the month of February, March and April, because you want to identify how many questions will give you what maximum returns and all, right. So if you start early, you will have large scope to make amends, improvements, to come out with a strategy to effectively deal with these papers, right. So number one is start writing answers, right. Start writing daily answer, but let focus be more on writing full length tests, mains tests. That to come to classroom, there are so many classrooms in Delhi, किसी classroom के अंदर घुसो, question paper लेके आ जाओ. In our institutions we allow people, if the classroom is empty, we don't even check your ID or anything, you come sit here, you write the test and then you can go back. So our doors are always open, that you can do. And daily answer writing, 1 or 2 questions, one static and one current affair question. So within the current affair question, most of the times go with economy, science and tech kind of questions. Economy, SNT and environment also. Mostly paper 3 questions. So because in prelims you see that economy is mostly economy, environment and to some extent SNT, mostly current type questions. So there most of the knowledge is kind of diffused. So you know the issue, but you know the topic, the facts, you won't remember effectively, right. So ensure that you do more of, from secure initiative you can pick up one question at least all the time and write one answer. So if you are somebody who is a fresher, somebody who is doing self study, who has not taken coaching, so you can spend 1 hour reading about the issue, right, and then write the answer. If somebody has a fear of answer writing, how to start now? In the beginning, first week, what you can do is that you first read the synopsis, read the question, read the synopsis, close it. In the evening you write 4-5 answers, right, for the same question. So next day you minimize it. After like few days you start taking up new questions, most familiar questions, familiar topics. You read little content from different sources and try to write the answer. In that manner incrementally you move to strange new questions and start writing the answers. So like this you can overcome. Suddenly if you want to take a completely new question, and then you will see that you have to do 2 hours of research, and then when you start writing that answer after all your research, it takes more time. So people get demotivated because it is taking like 2 hours, 3 hours to write one answer. You can simplify this process. First imitate, mimic, copy, and then slowly move towards independent answer writing. Got it? Will you do this?
Yes, sir.
All of you?
Yes, sir.
See, you are in this competition. This is competition. This is ruthless competition, right? The only way you can beat this competition is enhance your abilities, upgrade your skills, improve your abilities, empower yourself, enrich your knowledge. And most of the focus is on, the people try to do this, but in a way that only through rote learning. You read notes, you make notes, you revise your notes, you read textbooks, new book is released to market, you buy that, and then you try to read that also. The focus is on gaining the knowledge the most of the times. I even yesterday I spoke to one girl, she was saying she has cleared prelim, now she wants to make notes for all the topics, right. These are all passive exercises. Once you have done your coaching, once you have done your basic reading, now start applying it. Practice, right. So let practice become a dominant process in your day-to-day preparation. Now if you ask me looking into, that is what I am indomitable and all. So next year if you want to move into this thing, To crack this examination, 60% practice, 40% preparation. If you have already done with coaching, for those people I am talking about, if you are in the process of taking classes now, still preparing, maybe like 60% classes, 40% application. Got it? So the first thing is answer writing, especially full length. Second, prelims mocks in the offline mode, right? How many mocks you will give? Now advantage of starting now along with trial and error, you can spend more time analyzing the solutions right now. You give one mock test and then you can spend 6-7 hours, right? Maybe 4-5 hours depending on your speed of reading to analyze all 100 solutions. Now if you take that mock next year, you will be under pressure. You know, you cannot spend so much time analyzing each and every option, each and every solution, right? So you have to, so if you do it now, you can have second or third revision of the same mock tests. So have a target of like 60 mocks in the classroom environment, right? At least 60 mock tests in the classroom environment. That is one thing. Now I was talking about integrated. I said choose a timetable. Now if you started with art and culture, ancient, medieval, if that is what you are going to read for first 10 days. Now what people do is that daily MCQs is a what absent thing here, like you know people don't do daily MCQs, randomly do, like taking from website they do some quiz questions, some telegram channel they do like 4-5 questions, Twitter they do 1 or 2 questions, but on in a disciplined way, right? So if you are reading art and culture for let's say 4-5 days, in those 4-5 days now itself ensure that at least 200-300 questions of art and culture are solved right away. It doesn't take much time. Like for example, today you have put let's say like 2 units from any book or any source. Related to that, you pick the questions from last 20 to 25 years UPSC question papers, right? So when I ask people, say last 10 years I have done, right? Some people say 20 years also, but again they start doing it later. If you see last 20-year questions, at least 2 to 3 questions are as it is, they are repeated in the exam, right? As it is. Somebody was telling there were 2 questions this year which got repeated from last 20 years. I don't know which questions. Mostly related to static, ancient, medieval type of questions. So last 20-year question papers, you take all art and culture, you segregate them. As and when you are following a topic, if you are doing art and culture, you are writing mains answer writing, solve at least 30-40 MCQs on everyday basis. Right now that should be the target. How many? 30-40 MCQs. So you move into August, maybe 50 MCQs, and then August के बाद क्या आता है? September, October, right? That is my knowledge level. So September, October, slowly increase the numbers, maybe like 70 questions. From January it should be 100 questions per day, right? You don't know how many people have come and thanked me. 25 days before यहाँ पे एक session किया था मैंने. So लोगों को बोला, even now you can go and conquer prelims, crack prelims. Daily 400 questions करो. 25 days before prelims, I told the crowd here in the institution that even now you have a chance, do around 400 questions in a day. They were like, what 400? So we have only 24 hours to live in a day, right? So in Delhi, not like 24 hours is not there in Delhi, right? So because of this climate and all, it is like less here. So with concentration, you can study maybe 8 to 10 hours here because of the heat. लोग पार्क जाते हैं लेकिन वो हिलता ही नहीं, वो क्या पत्ते, so I've seen that, So you go with a hope that you will get some air, some fresh air and all. You know it is absent, but even then you go, like with the hope that you will get something in the park, right? So even midnight people are like so active here. So they sit, they drink, they smoke. So I've seen good things in Delhi. Good. Those things that which they don't do back at home, यहाँ पे इतना फ्रीडम मिलता है, गुड. So where was I?
Sir, 400 MCQs, 25 days.
Yeah. Thank you. So the 400 MCQs I told, so many people came and thanked me. So 400, of course, I was not able to do, but 200, 300 I was able to do. And I have scored 110 plus, 120 plus. I gave a formula, not randomly. I told them first, out of 25 days, first 10 days you do from all the sources available, like question banks, test series, those questions. That too systematically, like say 3 days you do polity, 3 days for economy. Remaining 15 days, again only UPSC questions. Don't touch single mock test of any other institution, including Insights or whatever it is. 15 days before the prelims, only UPSC questions, not only UPSC civil services but also NDA, CDS, CAPF, engineering service, economic service, the old papers related to other UPSC exams where objective questions are present, right. Now instead of doing these things then, if you can do them now, right, if you start doing them now, you can have like 3-4 proper revisions of all these questions, and it can be done now, even with your optional coaching, even with your optional notes making preparation. The things I am telling you now can be done now. All you need to do is change your mindset, right. So don't fear, don't be scared of anything, that if you do prelims, mains will be compromised now. If you write answers in March, prelims will be compromised now. Then these are all wrong thinking. This exam has become one actual unit now, where there is underlying demand, a common demand throughout all the 3 stages is that this candidate can he think, right? This analytical ability, is it present? Is he able to face uncertainty? Can she make a quick decision making, right? So these are some of the underlying qualities that are being tested across all the papers, including CSAT. I'll come to the CSAT part also, right? So slowly increase to 100 from January, and then maybe these are daily practices. So in these questions you don't have to do in-depth analysis when you are doing these questions. The intention of doing these questions to increase the range of your information, so that you become more familiar with variety of topics. And now when you are doing like 30-40 MCQs of art and culture, at the same time you are going through mains questions, right. So these 30-40 MCQs will give you so many examples to enrich your mains answers also, right. So it is not like again isolated. You will get n number of personalities, events, whatever it is related to that particular topic, which can enrich your mains answers. So that is what I meant by integrated. So you should be conscious about it. If you think it in an integrated way, you will be smart enough to use that knowledge you are gaining, through solving questions in your answers. You can club them and again use them in your essay writing also. So that is why we recommend write one essay every Sunday. I was talking about essay, right. If you start now writing essay, you can aim for 140 plus when you write mains next year, right. Essay, everyone sitting in this hall, don't take it lightly. It's not an easy thing to do, right. The essay is not what you write, based on what toppers have said, write positives, write negatives, write way forward, conclusion, temporal analysis, spatial analysis, right, pestle approach, everything is gone now. That routine way of writing essay has become mediocre, like that is being punished. Now they want your originality. Can you think? Are you thoughtful? Critical thinking, is it evident in your arguments, essays? So that comes with 2 things. One, writing practice, but again writing without learning anything, without gaining proper knowledge. So one mains answer writing, prelims, that will help, but to write better essays, there is something called extra reading, right. So which takes care of the interview problem. You should have a habit of reading books, fiction, non-fiction, the serious works, the classics, good non-fiction. So like 3 years ago, I had talked about similar thing in, like not in Delhi, in Bangalore. So I told people, read epics, read Panchatantra stories to enrich your essays. And so nowadays we see people writing Mahabharata stories, Ramayana stories in most of the essays. And then some Panchatantra stories also write. And then I said, you have to read books to enrich yourself. Everyone started quoting, Sapiens in their essays, because that's a dominant book, very popular book. It's an excellent book, but has become a popular non-fiction book. All anthropology students started reading it, and then everyone started reading it. Then 21st Lessons for 21st Century, there is another book. People started reading. So when we ask people to quote books, quoting books is nothing but you are using that argument to justify your argument in the essay, trying to substantiate. So they started only mentioning one book. So before that it used to be Alchemist, and You Can Win, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. These were the books people who used to quoted. Now said go to mature books, right? Started quoting this book. But everybody, like we have this herd mentality, so keep repeating the same stuff. Now to develop individuality, to develop originality, and also to display that critical thinking, you have to know many perspectives about one issue, right? You should be aware of different viewpoints, right? Different ideas that exist about one particular subject, topic, issue, whatever it is, right? So that you can anyway gain through current affairs like secure writing and all, actually gives you many dimensions. For example, I was talking about like any current topic, you will see that it can be seen from many stakeholders viewpoint, many sectors viewpoint, which usually editorials cover. Farmer protest, for example, that can be covered from farmer perspective, market perspective, the policy perspective, from the civil society perspective, from the infrastructure perspective, like so many things. So when you are exposed to different dimensions, the essay gets enriched. But because everyone is doing the same thing, so you are so used to current affair example, when you quote them, they become obvious examples, right? So boring examples. So for that, have a list of like 20-30 books, right? So you choose your genre, like it can be development economics, it can be something related to emerging technologies, something related to entrepreneurship in agriculture, in rural development. Depending on your interest, develop two interests, and you can start reading books related to those two interests. And when you clear prelims, when you write mains, when you are filling the DAP, you can actually put them as your two interests. So it serves the purpose of hobby as interest, so which can initiate a discussion in the interview. I'll tell you, interview has become a very boring thing, because people put the same usual hobbies of trekking, traveling, gardening, cooking, these kind of things. So nothing intellectually stimulating. So how can I start conversation with this candidate, right? So if you have very good academic background, you have done some specialization in some courses, some kind of experience in some kind of good sectors, development sectors, or if you have these kind of hobbies of either writing, blogging, or reading about some kind of critical topics, then I can start a conversation with you, because for me that is stimulating, thought provoking. Otherwise the questions will be mundane, like boring question, become more factual, mechanical. So it helps you in interview. Secondly, 100% it will help you in essay. So if you can have summary of like 20 books, for people who are writing mains, we are recommending go for the shortcut, directly take the summary, right? You can actually read entire book, spend only 10-15 minutes every day. You can still complete 20 books by your next interview easily. Only by spending 10-15 minutes, you can actually complete nearly 20 books. So it is not like you are deviating from you should have self-control, of course. Entire day you should not spend reading, because the books, if gets interesting, you might tend to spend entire day. Nothing wrong in doing now and then, but if you have the target, if you are disciplined, so better to spend like 15 minutes every day just before the sleep. So instead watching your reels on Instagram, other so shorts on YouTube, you can spend that 15 minutes reading something productive. It really helps. will get you good dreams also, right? So when you sleep, that anxiety problem, that unhealthy dreams, so you'll get good dreams, right? So it enhances your creativity, your imagination powers when you keep stimulating it, writing, reading, that kind of good stuff. And this is required, this is a necessity now, right? So don't think this is again hobby, I can do away with it. Like last 2 years I'm closely associated with hundreds of toppers, because I get to do multiple mocks with them. I get to understand them, their personality, their interests, hobbies, right? So we grow close to them when you start analyzing them, right? So it is evident that most of them, not of course not everyone, now I can say 70% of them at least, are having certain core interests, they have individuality, right? So they are able to take risk, think independently, make quick decisions, and their personality is really solid, strong, right? So there is a direct correlation nowadays I am seeing that. So now you, as being an aspirant, right, you have to focus on that aspect also. Got it? So that is one thing. So I was talking about essay, so that to bring more dimension you have to read these kind of books. So every week write an essay. Somebody asked like, how many of you have written essays so far? How many essays you have written? 3. So okay. So from Sunday topic. So when did you start preparation? 2 years ago. Good. So anybody who started preparation 2 years ago has never written any essay? There are many, like you are hesitant to raise your hands. You might have started 1 year ago but haven't written single essay, right? There are many in the crowd, right? Now ask yourself why you didn't do that, right? At least did you know that it was important, that you should have written essays? Is it important or not? It is very much part of the, it used to be neglected, like CSAT earlier times, as part of mains, it was the neglected area, right? So UPSC realized, then they started changing the way the paper is set, right? Where you are now forced to write, you are forced to think, which is a good thing, right? So you have to ask these basic questions, like, this is the motivation part here. Right? Ask the basic question, why are you in this race? Why are you in this preparation? That there are certain things that must be done, but you haven't done them. Which forces were stopping you from doing them? Right? So it's nothing, not any external force, it was only internal fear or something. So similarly, one person asked me like, I don't know what to write in the essay. How should I start writing the essay? Yesterday evening only he met me around 8 o'clock. So back in Bangalore, I also took a session about how to start writing essay. So I went with a bottle, like this very Bisleri bottle. So I told them, write essay on this bottle. Right? The common excuse is that my economy is not done, my polity is not done, society is not done, art and culture is not done. ठीक है. So write essay on the bottle. Right? So people started giving ideas. Right? I said, गुर के देखो इसको. So क्या दिख रहा है? Right? Somebody said, of course, green color. So there is I saw it as a kutta, like, but then they corrected me saying it's a camel. Right? Why camel on the water bottle? Right? Is it camel piggybacking water or what? बचपन में बोलते ना वो पानी रहता है उसके ऊपर ऐसे कुछ, आई डोंट नो, राइट? सो उसमें बदल भी लिखा है, BADAL. सो कैमल, देयर इज अ बैज एंड इट हैज रिटन बादल. बादल इज क्लाउड, द नेम ऑफ द कैमल. सो अच्छा, देयर इज एडवर्टाइजमेंट ऑल्सो इसका. अच्छा, मैं देखा नहीं. कहाँ न्यूज़ में आता है या एंटरटेनमेंट में आता है? न्यूज़ भी एंटरटेनमेंट है ना तो ठीक है. So no time to watch all that. I watch series whenever I get time. I watch Stranger Things complete किया कल, right? So Stranger Things. So these people know they intentionally create that expectation. मतलब next कब आएगा? So we can afford to do that, but for you, ठीक है. So watch it, but again don't get addicted. So I asked these people to write an essay. Somebody said it has green color. Then I asked why green color. What might be the logic? Then said talk about cylinder shape a bottle. ठीक है. So okay, ठीक है. So and then what else you see? They said there is water inside the bottle.
Historical perspective, like from it started, there was mud bottle and then with more.
Now that you can bring it like historical perspective.
It became plastic. Earlier it was glass, then
हम्म.
it became plastic.
या राइट. अर्लियर तो ये था ना, ये क्या बोलते तुम हिंदी में, मड वाला रेलवे स्टेशन में देते ना क्या, कुल्लड़. हाँ, सो कुल्लड़ मटका.
We can start from minerals and
ठीक है. So that is one idea. Like he is saying the material. It's about material. So whether it is of ethical dimension, I said, can you think any ethical dimension here? So let's say half full, half empty, that kind of thinking. Huh?
Practical dimensions, comparing life with water, what it takes dimensions. of
Yeah,
water.
good. So then I asked, like, can you think again, like critical thinking. देखो फिर से देखो गुरगुर के, like critical thinking क्या आ रही? Yes. Single use plastic. Good. So बहुत लोगों का माइंड ऐसे चलता है कि पोल्यूशन प्लास्टिक पानी, पोल्यूशन प्लास्टिक पानी, ठीक है. So can you think beyond that? So that is where your originality in essay or your introductions in your answers.
Advertisement strategies, the
Very good.
structure of product means the
Now what is the strategy? Advertisement strategy is the right word, but what is the strategy? So what is the thought in that? Now they are convincing everyone, even the poorest of the poor, that this is the safest water. Affordability, what they are trying to do, they are bringing small packages also, small, वो 2 रुपए वाला, 5 रुपए वाला, and telling even the poorest poor that you should drink. They are convincing, they have conditioned, they have brainwashed. They have brainwashed me also. मैं यही पीता हूँ. So बीवी डांटती है ना, like बाहर का पानी मत पी लो, ठीक है, सिर्फ बिस्लेरी का पानी अच्छा रहता है. तो even it used to be the rich people, now everybody. वो fear आ चुका है अंदर, right? Can you make an argument out of it and write it? And the kind of advertisement, हिमालय से भरा हुआ पानी, तो ठीक है. So ये लोग वहाँ जाते हैं हिमालय से पानी भरते हैं और उसके और एक लोकेशन चलते हैं, वहाँ से मिनरल्स भी उठाते हैं. And then they put minerals into this water. It's a mineral water. ठीक है. Now if you go to any local factory which actually produces, this so-called mineral water, you will see what minerals they are adding. The minerals from sweat and so all those kind of minerals. So that is another idea, right? And then I said, can you think beyond also?
So labor rights involved in the people who are producing this.
Good, very good. Labor rights, people who are producing, that is one thing. Another one is resource exploitation. I said, don't you see water as a prisoner here? I just कुछ ऐसे बोल दिया sentence. हाँ sir, prisoner है पानी यहाँ पे.
charging money for the most fundamental thing, which should
Charging money for the most fundamental, which is actually free or something. And then I said, can you think anything about capitalism here? Right? So then suddenly, yes, like sociology पढ़े हम लोगों ने, PSIR पढ़े, like अच्छा capitalism, good idea. So you can start thinking about the nature of capitalism. Looking at the bottle, you can talk about the nature of capitalism, right? So all it takes is willingness. It's not about lack of knowledge, lack of ideas or anything. It's bit of imagination. You have to initiate yourself. You have to start doing it. वो बोलते नाइकी वाला एडवर्टाइज, दीपिका पडुकोण नाइकी है, दीपिका पडुकोण है ना, नाइकी रील्स देखते हो ना, क्या है एडिडास एंड नाइकी, डोंट नो, नाइकी, राइट? हाँ. So that just do it. So just do it. Start doing it. Not only the essay part. What are the other 2 parts I talked about? Hmm?
Practice questions.
Yes, daily answer writing, weekly or once in 10 days full length paper, and then daily MCQs. So in daily MCQ static I was talking about, then on the website we are giving current affair questions. Almost every topper I have spoken to, they have said they are fans of our current affair quiz compilations. So Insights current affair questions, compulsorily do it. For 2023 attempt, start from January 2022 compilations, right? So you should go back at least 1 year, so that you have proper range of information, because current affairs can go back to 1 year, 2 years also. From January 2022 to April 2023 quiz compilations. So daily we are giving 20 questions, 5 from editorial, 5 from daily current affairs, and 10 from previous day current affairs, something called RTM initiative, revision through MCQs. 20 questions, make it a habit to do every day. So 20 from there, 30 from here, 50 questions on a daily basis. It will do magic to your preparation. I'm honestly telling you, it will do magic to your preparation. You will get so many examples, and ensure that these daily quizzes are revised once in a month, especially quiz. Even if you don't revise the static one every day you are doing, it's fine, but weekly full length test you have to revise. But current affairs compulsorily revise them once in a month. You take the compilations, right? And now the essay we covered. So have a target of 30 to 40 essays by next year mains. So mostly philosophical topics, but ensure that you also write. Now see, they are masking these issues, disguising these issues as philosophical topics. So there is a topic on democracy, there is a topic on women empowerment, there is a topic on technology, but it is disguised as so-called philosophical topic. So the regular issues which you are reading and seeing, so have a ethical, philosophical perspective on them also, right? So that is when you start writing weekly essays, there you can experiment it. Got it? So write essays on those topics also, but even when the topic is like very like biased media is threat to Indian democracy, this was a previous year topic. Ensure that there is always one philosophical, ethical dimension even in that GS type of topic also, right? In some part of the essay, at least 2 to 3 paragraphs, you are bringing that dimension. Climate change, so resilient technologies or some innovative technologies, something like this. So there also can you bring some ethical, philosophical dimension in that essay. So if you make a habit of writing this dimension even in normal topics, so when the topic is disguised as philosophical, you will know how to think and how to write entire essay in that manner. Got it? So did you get clarity so far?
Yes, sir.
Did you note them down in your mind? Okay. अभी एक टॉपिक दिए थे हम लोग, माइंड ब्यूटीफुल सर्वेंट और dangerous master. So last Sunday we gave this topic. It's a very good topic. This is last week topic, right? Last Sunday topic. So try to write an essay on this topic. So many people wrote, this herd mentality has destroyed all of us, right? Now most of the essays I read where people have written essay and have come to show that they have started, they display this herd mentality in the introduction itself. How? They know the topic, mind, a beautiful servant or dangerous master. They haven't thought anything beyond this right now when they are writing the introduction. So yes, I will write a story that it is a beautiful servant. So Gandhi, अच्छा सोचा गांधी जी ने तो freedom आ गया. So it's a beautiful mind. Hitler thought something about Holocaust, something about extermination of Jews. So it is a dangerous master. It dominated his bad thinking and it became, stories are different, characters are different, the approach is same in the introduction. So now they have just gone with the topic. They have accepted topic as it is and shown that. So there is no element of critical thinking in the introduction. So that is because of herd mentality. So what is critical thinking? Now I started asking this question. So, whose servant? The topic says mind is beautiful servant. किसका servant है? Then they said my servant. Then I asked, who are you?
One's consciousness towards God's.
Good. So I asked like, who are you? Right. So then answer started coming. Like if they say master, like are you talking about your body, human body? Are you talking about your brain? किसका master है? Mind. किसका servant है? ठीक है. So then he said consciousness, that can be some conscience, values, qualities, right? That is, so that ability to ask even the basic question is missing in most of the essays, right? So when you pick up topic, it is all integrated, you know, the way the sources we prepare from. बहुत लोग editorial पढ़ते नहीं. Most of the people don't read editorial. They directly go to YouTube, they watch editorial analysis. Editorial itself is analysis, right? And then you are doing analysis on the analysis, right? So they are not actually doing analysis. They are giving you, they have cut neatly it into, you know, digestible information, and they are giving you, they are explaining you. ठीक है? So it is an assault on your, right, thinking, intellectual ability. So read editorials. It can be the Hindu, Indian Express, Live Mint, Business Standard, Deccan Herald. We have a very good newspaper in South, Deccan Herald, right? So read editorials. Make it a habit to read at least 2 to 3 editorials. So don't dilute your abilities. You have to strengthen them. Now let us come to the most important thing, CSAT, right? So this year what has happened, just like in essay it has come down by 15 marks. Compared to last year, if somebody had scored 140 last year, they have scored around 125 this year, right? If it was 125 last year, this year 105, 106, 107, that is the score. The reason is that the nature of the paper changed. It was demanding, the subjectivity was there. So they hadn't adapted, they hadn't practiced in that direction. Suddenly going to examination or trying to come up with ideas is difficult. So then what happens? Gandhiji aayenge, Lincoln, Mandela, Thomas Alva Edison, Mother Teresa, Vivekananda, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, right? So these cliched examples will come and you totally dilute your things, right? ये ट्विटर पे लगाने के लिए दिस फोटोज एंड ऑल. सो आजकल सॉफ्ट मार्केटिंग कर रहे हैं हम लोग. बादल. सो दिल्ली में आते ही नहीं लोग, पता नहीं इतना अच्छा प्रोग्राम है हमारा OGP. सो यू नो OGP इज ऑफलाइन गाइडेंस प्रोग्राम वेयर वी in fact I think first 2 rows they have sat here. I will just ask a random question. How many answers you have written in 2 months? You OGP student, तुम answers ना कितना लिखा है?
टेस्ट को मिलाकर अगर देखा जाए तो 20 टेस्ट होते तो सॉरी 10 का होता है तो we leave around 1 or 2.
So total how many approximate answers?
30 40 इससे ज़्यादा है.
Daily answers?
Daily answers को include करके
60 70. So in 2 months, right? 1.5 months, 2 months, 1.5 months. So 1.5 months they have written 60 answers. They are total freshers. Some of them are still pursuing graduation in colleges, right? From day 1, from first class, we made them write answers. They have written on an average, let's say on an average they have written 40 to 50 answers. Some of them ambitious might have written 60, 70. 40 to 50 answers they have written, and 3 to 4 average essays they have written. Like every week they had to write. So they have written 3 to 4 essays. Somebody has written 5 to 6 essays also. So I was wondering like why there is no response in Delhi. Like, you know, we are basically making them write answers and then we are discussing that answer, how to write that answer in the class, how to structure, how to, what content you need to write. ये भी marketing part है, तो सुनो, ठीक है. So and then we teach in the class, then we give them assignment, MCQs भी रहेगा daily. then there is mentorship and all. I was wondering like Delhi, why despite having so good program, fees bhi kam hai hamara. So compared to any other, like in even small institution, if you go to Delhi, it has like 1.5 lakh, something like for a foundation course, like ours is somewhere around 1 lakh, discount and all. So I was wondering like why the response is poor. So then the student said, पहली बार कर रहे हो आप यहाँ पे, तो first time you are doing in the Delhi, so these people are testing you, right? So they are cautious. They are like whether though the things you are promising, are you able to deliver them, right? So then I said, we haven't marketed this in Delhi. You don't see OGP advertisement anywhere, newspaper or anything. So we said we'll deliver. So I made a mission that from this OGP we will give one top 10 rank, right? From a fresher, total fresher in first attempt, and then bada board laga denge, right? Now it has nothing to do with crack the prelims, indomitable. So opportunity use करना है ना, YouTube में live भी जा रहा है तो ठीक है. So then coming back, right, the CSAT. Now why people have failed in CSAT? The marks have come down in CSAT also. If somebody had scored 100, you see they are in the range of 75-80 marks. If somebody was scoring 85-90, now they are 70-75, something like that. So except few exceptions, most of the people are scoring low marks. Now the same trend will continue for next prelims also. The CSAT, they will make it uncertain by varying the weightage or the difficulty level of certain questions or passages, quant or something. Now how you should be ready for CSAT, irrespective of how brilliant you are, whether you are from IIT, NIT, DTU, whichever college, you may be computer science graduate, you might have given CLAT, done well in your other aptitude tests. Don't take CSAT for granted. Don't take it for granted. You may be so brilliant with the CSAT paper, keep validating it, keep your brilliance level same by giving tests again and again. So my solution to this problem is that anybody who has fear of CSAT, so I have a slightly different thinking here. So I won't recommend you to join classes, do even daily practice or anything, but starting this week, do at least 2 full-length CSAT papers in the classroom. Just pick up any CSAT paper, full-length papers. Start with the quant, not again the passages, right? So you have to improve your aptitude. You have to also address the fear factor. The fear factor will be addressed when you do more number of full-length tests in the classroom mode. When you practice them, the fear will be addressed. And the aptitude part, so that must be improved, right? That cannot be improved when there is certainty. So when you see a problem, you learn a problem and then you solve it, it is not actually improving. It is giving you a template formula to solve it, but the same problem when it is asked from another angle, right? So you may not be ready for that. So for that, first you have to tackle it on its head. So take the full-length papers, then do the reverse engineering, right? Second thing you have to avoid is don't rely only on previous year papers for CSAT. In paper 1, that is a must. Repeatedly do it. In paper 2, do it once, be familiar with it, but don't rely on it. What do I mean by relying on it? So you score 110, 120 in previous CSAT paper and you assume that you are good in CSAT. Don't go with that false confidence, right? Somewhere the questions are familiar, you might have seen here and there, right? So don't go with that, or maybe the paper you are giving, you are giving in a relaxed environment. So take full-length papers, just like you do around 60 full-length mocks for paper 1, do at least 30-40 full-length CSAT papers before your CSAT. Now if I ask a question, everyone will say most 99% of them haven't done more than 10 CSAT papers, full-length. Majority will say I've done like 3, 4, 5, those were part of Abhyas or this step-up test series. You would have gone and given few tests. Am I right? So if I randomly, how many of you gave? How many CSAT papers you gave before the exam? Anybody more than 10 full-length papers? Good. Were you able to do well in CSAT? Good. right? So it is directly proportional to practice. The third aspect it takes care is that the speed aspect. People have failed because of their indifference, ignoring the CSAT paper, assuming that I can do well, so I will not do the practice. Now suddenly problem lamba ho gaya, thoda difficult ho gaya, you got stuck in the problem, so it affected your next question. So that time is running out. You went with the mindset that you will do 50-55 questions, but now you are seeing that you are able to do only 35-40 questions. So you became anxious, nervous, right? So to prevent these things, the speed must be improved. Speed of solving the problems, speed of thinking fast. So that can come only when you tackle full length papers in the examination hall. Again, don't go with any fixed strategy to the exams, that I'll do only passages, that I'll do only quant, right? So you should have mix of questions. So get better in quant questions. There is no alternative. Everyone, whether you are from humanities background, law background, science, so ensure that you are really good in the quant part. So for that, again, quant questions from other objective question papers, other UPSC exams, NDA, CDS, पहला वो कर दो, right? And then full length papers of any institution, right? And if you have more fear of it, upgrade it. CAT का questions करो थोड़ा सा, and then GMAT, GRE questions, right? So you can take some questions, not like all the questions, some questions, so challenging questions, so that you don't have any fear about CSAT also. See, this exam is about improvements, right? This exam is also about minimizing the mistakes you make in the examinations, right? So if you, this is the collection of so many factors if you want to become a topper. So you have to go forward in such a way that you start making lesser number of mistakes or eliminate total mistakes based on your previous experience or based on feedback from your mentors and toppers. And also there is always incremental improvement compared to the past. It can be in terms of writing your answer, writing introduction, essay, solving more number of quant questions. You have to feel that, you have to experience that improvement, in your week by week growth, month by month growth. So that can happen only when you are testing yourself, when you are practicing in an exam like environment. I have seen people who could write only 3 pages essay would go on to score 140, 145. In the span of 3 months, they would write 10 to 12 sides of essay. Somebody who would score like OGP students I have seen, like if they were scoring 30, 40 in the mock test, they would eventually go on to score 120 by April. These are like very few people. I am talking about the minority within the minority, right? So everyone doesn't do this. Everyone do not have, so which brings me to the personality part. So in the earlier, so we didn't upload the video thinking that you people would not come to class. The previous session which I did in Bangalore, the social media team suggested like, so let's not upload because you will have to address the empty class in Delhi, right? Yeah. So I keep forgetting where was I? A personality. So I addressed the personality part there. Now that is most important to crack this examination. Now you should have this attitude, personality to, see, you have come from your room, सीढ़ियाँ चढ़ के यहाँ तक आए हो, you have sat in the classroom, right? You came with some hope, some intention of learning, taking away from the class. Now when you walk outside the class, right, are you a changed person or the same cynical, lazy, the older version of yourself? The transformation is important. So I tell the same thing. If I take a mock interview, when you walk out, you should be a changed person, based on the feedback. Interview तक reach किए हैं तो they are receptive. They do change. उनमें भी there are like 1 or 2 people who do not change. इसको पता नहीं personality के बारे में. My personality is still good. So I have seen such people, scoring like hat-trick 4-5 times series of 130, 140 marks in interview because of their arrogance and ego problem, right? So this ego, you have to throw it out, you have to learn, and the personality matters, because to give to write answers every day, to write essay every week, to give these mock tests in coming to classroom is not possible, is possible by everyone, but everyone will not do this. Right? Eventually you won't do this on a regular basis. But those who does on a regular basis, they will definitely crack this exam. Cracking exam is just a small part. After that also they are better people, they are changed people. So ensure that this doesn't stop here only, you will go back, whatever numbers I have told in this class is being taken care of. Now the fourth aspect is optional, right? It is nothing related to prelims but still related to prelims. Now when you go to prelims, your mind should be free and relaxed, right? There should not be any kind of fear, there should not be any kind of doubts. The fear of future, like okay, if I clear prelims, mains optional bacha hua hai, right? It can be small to bigger fears, whatever it is. You have to take care of these fears. So have the target of 2 test series by January or February, optional. So you might have written previously test series, at least 1 test series, but 2 test series is desirable. So that before prelims, you have the confidence of scoring like 250, 260 or 270 in your optional subject. Got it? So I see this exam as 1 unit. Now I cannot just tell you what to do in prelims and run away, right? After prelims, you have to crack the mains also, right? But before prelims, that adds to your confidence, right? Once you are good with your optional subject, you may be taking classes, do previous year questions, right? So if your classes gets over say by September or October, immediately enroll for a test series. Do answer writing for optional, that is very important. Before doing answer writing, whichever optional you have, refer to standard sources. It applies to all the optional subjects. Don't rely on the existing notes or your previous notes. So you have to update them from standard sources. All optionals have standard textbooks. And another trend in optional I am seeing is that, let's say if you had made notes last year and you had written mains also, their marks are coming down in the next attempt. If you had scored 280 in mains last attempt, say anthropology, so this year it is like 230 or 240. But if this is your first mains where you have done thoroughly, taken coaching, made fresh notes and everything, you have the chance of getting better marks in mains in that optional. The reason they are not scoring well is that every year the expectation is changing, right? You have to update your notes. You cannot use the last year notes, last year example, last year cases in this year, right? So ensure that every year it is updated, not only your optional notes, your GS notes as well. So if you are moving into 2023 mains, got it? How many of you are from Delhi University? JNU? Others? Different colleges. Anyone from Karnataka here? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. What are you doing here? You have gold in Bangalore, but ये कहावत है ना, हिंदी में क्या है, क्या बोलते हो तुम लोग? कन्नड़ में है ये कहावत, बट नहीं वो नहीं है, पास में एयर रख के वहाँ पे जा रहा होगा, ऐसे कुछ बोलते हैं ना, बगल में समथिंग गोद में कुछ है और वहाँ पे ढूंढ रहा है ऐसे कुछ. No, nothing wrong in you coming, like fine. So you might have come for optional, different mains test series. Even in fact, from Bangalore, I have sent people to Delhi. If somebody had written Insights main test series last year, I told them this year go to another main test series. Maybe you can take only essay ethics from Insights, GS 1, 2, 3 from another test series, so that you know the if there is consistency, in the evaluation, the marks you are getting. So if these people are giving similar marks than compared to what we gave, so that there is no inconsistency. Okay. So all of you come from all parts of India to Delhi. Good. How many of you are from Delhi, born and brought up in Delhi? Oh, very few. देखो तुम्हारी शहर में सब बाहर के लोग हैं कैसे लगता है?
So Delhi has always been like that. Like,
Delhi is that only, right? Like it's all people from other parts of India and some more people from nearby parts of India.
Mumbai also same.
मुंबई ऑल्सो सेम ना, तुम्हारी मुंबई तो कुछ ना कुछ चलता रहता है वहाँ पे, ठीक है ठीक है। तो इट्स हैपनिंग, मोस्ट हैपनिंग सिटी ना, पूरा नौटंकी
Bollywood also there.
बॉलीवुड इज ऑल्सो देयर, ठीक है। मतलब रिसीव करो, बात करो, क्या सुन सो एनी डाउट्स? यस, यू आर फ्रॉम कर्नाटक राइट? अच्छा वो वाला, हाँ। See, his question is there is uncertain element in the prelims question papers. So last year they had some uncertain questions. This year again they had certain uncertain questions. See, the solution to that part is, of course, as I said, you should be aware of the range of information I said. You should be familiar with the things, number one. Better revision. Third one is answer writing. Basically, the problem is taken care by the answer writing, right? Again, you should know the tools of answer writing, basics of answer writing. Answer writing is not just, you have the question, give like 3 examples to justify the question. Every question will have a different demand, right? Some question, if it is discussed, though it is not asking for challenges, the solutions, you have to come up with challenges and solutions, right? For which again you have to have concrete knowledge about the things. So the problem is taken care by, one, you increase the, the width, breadth of range of information, be aware of the things. Secondly, don't miss any part of the examination, any section of it. So current affairs, so if you extrapolate, something is related to the syllabus only. So nothing is outside the syllabus. So third, revision, and to improve the probability, what you need to do is that you don't, like for example, ancient medieval, I won't recommend you to read any textbook for it. Don't go from, this point to this point through a textbook or anything. Instead, if you solve last 20-25 years papers, you will see broad themes in ancient medieval, right? So make a list of such kind of maybe like 10, 15, 20 topics, deepen your knowledge base, understanding in those topics, right? So anything related to Jainism, right? You should be aware of it. Anything related to Buddhism, Sangam literature, right? So these are repeated in some manner every year. You know for certainty there is going to be question on this, right? So write answers on that. Maybe you can write an essay also, understand their philosophy, understand its application, right? Understand its influence, how it has impacted the culture. Got it? So I am sure any question on that you will be able to tackle. And to answer even more specifically your question, you should never worry about such kind of 3-4 questions. So in my prelims orientation, I said that go with the mindset that you know answers only to 60-70 questions, not for all the 100 questions. You don't know answer to all 100 questions, you should never go with the even remotely thinking that you know answers to 100 questions. Got it? So that is when this fear comes. Any other questions?
So I had a question about the issue of trying to make an answer essay perfect. So in order to make it so good that I never end up finishing it, it's always incomplete.
Yeah. This I have seen many people face the problem, the chasing perfection, right? Chasing perfection, some people don't even write it. So you are talking about not completing the answer or maybe not continuing writing the answer. So as I said earlier, it should be incremental. Any improvement must be incremental, right? And it 100% happens, that improvement will happen 100%. So don't be afraid, don't hesitate to write poor introduction, poor answer in the beginning. So initiate. So now as your writing, as your reading, understanding improves, and once you start taking the feedback, this introduction is mediocre, poor, so then apply the thinking. Like for example, there are like certain tools to practice. For people who are writing mains, so I am asking them to write better in introduction and conclusion. So it becomes difficult to think good introduction when you are in the examination hall. So I am telling them pick 10 random questions, 5 or 10 random questions, sit for like 5 to 6 minutes. For every question just write introduction, think introduction, don't forget about body, conclusion and everything, right? And before that you should know what is the introduction, what introduction needs to be written. So in the earlier session I gave the hint that introduction is something a thoughtful line, not mere fact, definition or anything. So if question has 4 parts or 3 parts, what people do, they pick one keyword from the question, they write the definition of that keyword. That is not the introduction, right? Introduction is introduction to your answer, entire answer, what you are writing in body and conclusion. So can you club everything, the all 3 dimensions, 4 dimensions, what to expect in your answer in 1 or 2 lines in the introduction, which requires you to think fast, synthesize, consolidate, so all the parts into one coherent line and put it in such a way that evaluator, the moment he reads your introduction, knows that your understanding is deeper, right? So for that you take random 5 questions, just write introduction. If you have a problem in conclusion, do the same exercise for conclusion. If you have problem in structuring the answer, if there are many parts, so do this exercise, so that will take care of the problem.
आपने बोला डेली आंसर करने के लिए, तो मतलब मेरे पास नॉलेज होगा उसको अप्लाई करने के लिए तभी तो पॉसिबल होगा डेली.
तो वही बोला ना, so I gave you take up 5 questions for which you know the answers in the beginning. You read synopsis, in the evening write answer to those questions. Now on a surface level it is taking care of the problem of fear of writing. You know the answer but you have initiated yourself into writing something. But once you write like this for few days, that will give you courage to experiment. Now you are habituated, you are liking, writing and all. So you take random questions, previous year familiar questions, and then 5-10 minute पढ़ो उसके बारे में, and then you write something for that. You can do that also, write only introduction in the beginning, right? Or write only body without introduction. So do something about it.
So when we write some answers and then we get them evaluated by the mentors,
Hmm.
students, I'm talking about me.
Hmm.
So sir, they give us certain feedbacks on our answers
Hmm.
to improve something.
Hmm.
But sir, when the next time I write some other answer or essay, then
It's a continuous process, there is no ending.
so that feedback I'm not able to reflect on my answers. I just write whatever comes to my mind. So that improvement I've not been able to see in my answers.
So that improvement will happen, you have to pause and think, like when you are writing the answer. So don't be under the, don't be in a rush to complete the answer in a stipulated time or anything.
That's what I do, sir.
So no, don't do that. So then you cannot think about it. So take more time, you take double time, instead of 7 minutes, take 15 minutes. So pause, if they are told you to write better introduction, take more time and write better introduction. Okay.
Sir, with personality coming into play and the discipline of the individual coming into play, how far the coaching remains relevant in preparation?
So in Delhi में बोलते हैं ना, so she has come up with an agenda here, something like that. I mean, anyone say something like this, nowadays there is a tendency to,
Sir, I'm part of OGP batch.
you want to leave or what? Like?
I want to understand the relevance, the cost-benefit analysis of the time that I'm putting in this coaching.
Correct. See, coaching people see only from the perspective of taking classes and going back home, reading those notes, revising stuff. But in Insights, at least what we are doing is mentoring is there, regular interaction is there. And I have made a conscious decision that for OGP students, I have asked them to come sit and study here, where you can interact with fellow students also. And if you have noticed from my orientation to present, I have been asking you people to read and write regularly, read extra books, write. So there is this conditioning from our part. I don't know about other coaching, but here we are, because I am so much conscious about this fact. This is so much important, personality is important. So in a informal way been trying to do that, but it is always about you, your effort. First you should be aware of this problem, this is what is required, and then you have to put extra efforts. Now you can do this with or coaching, without coaching, but being aware of it, if you can create your own self awareness about it, if you are aware about it, then you can do it without coaching also. But because we are doing it on a regular basis, like I take every occasion to talk about it, whether it is prelims orientation, interview orientation, mains orientation. I think regular hearing of it, so that is why you have paid the fees for OGP. You are happy with OGP?
Sir, I've just joined a week back.
Week back you have joined. अच्छा. So others, those who have joined, ये भी marketing part है. It's really good. Good. It's really good. Like we here like take care of the student. I mean we are concerned about it. So यहाँ पे दिल्ली आके मैं दिखावत नहीं करता हूँ. Like I sat till 9:30 p.m. yesterday here. So back home also same. I go around like 11:30 and stay till 7:30, 8 p.m. in the institution. Not only me, yes. 8? 10. अच्छा, you saw me. तुम भी OGP है ना? So they were sitting and studying here. I told them यहाँ पे लोग होते हैं ना, like when you become DC, your driver is more powerful. District collector. ऐसे यहाँ पे कुछ लोग होते हैं. They were telling 8 o'clock I'll close. तुम लोग चले जाओ. Then these people said, you want to study more. I told him, keep it open till 10 o'clock. Right? If you are sleeping here more than 10 o'clock, let them study. So these people are studying till 10 o'clock in the classroom. So, but 9:30 I walked out of my cabin. Then you people came out. Yes. So anyway, the reason we do it is that that is important. The feedback, the mentoring is important. So otherwise you will never know what mistakes you are doing, in which wrong direction you are going, if you don't talk to experienced people. I never use word expert about myself. Bit more experienced is what I use. Yes, other doubts? Revision strategy. Yeah, see, it depends on the course, the test series you have taken. Now let's say if you have taken mains test series, right? So there are like 30-40 tests in mains. Now same art and culture, modern history, that is the syllabus for the first test. So you should have like 2 revisions before the test. What people do is that, again, something related to herd mentality. Everyone is in the race to complete things, completion, right? So I want to complete this within this time, within these days. So if the test is scheduled after 10 days, right? Whatever you would like to complete it by the 8th day, right? 8th day, it can be 50%, 60%, 70%. But if you are approaching from textbook approach, like page 1 to last page, that is what I meant, 60-70%. There is another intelligent approach, not intelligent approach, another better approach, that is selective preparation. Art and culture, modern history, if you are aware of previous year questions, trends, both prelims and mains, you know that only some topics are more important, right? So you make a list of those important topics, try to cover them by 8th day, 9th day only revision, right? You have to do that self-control thing here. So people want to study furthermore, new chapters, new thing till the exam day, right? So that is actually detrimental. It won't help you in any way. So stop. One day before the exam, you revise. One more time before the exam. And of course, daily revision of whatever you are doing. So if you are studying for 10 hours, then do 1 hour revision next morning. So 2 revisions are must. So if you can keep doing this, there won't be necessity. Again, when you are writing the test, that is the ultimate revision, right? And after writing the test, you are again going through synopsis, right? There is one more revision. So this cycle, if you keep repeating, so I think the knowledge will stay with you. And in our YLM, that is year long, and IPM, we have put 3 iterations. So first round, if you leave certain topics, right, as part of art and culture, modern history. In the second round, you can actually cover them, right. So you won't have this, don't have the fear of missing out something in the first round itself. Okay. So.
Sir, in this prelims, due to the pressurized condition of those 2 hours, 3-4 questions were there, but it just didn't click up at that time.
No, so it's all about being relaxed, right. So as I said about personality, so from now you develop that kind of personality, staying relaxed in any kind of situation. And of course practice will definitely help improve the speed of thinking, right, and multiple revisions will help you trust your instincts in that moment. So that is there, but somehow you people have to, how will you work on that part? Being calm, relaxed, being equanimous, no anger, no sadness, even any kind of situation. Reading more Buddhism. Meditation. How many of you are doing meditation? Good. So you also doing. Did you get anxious in the exam? So those who are doing meditation, are you seeing the benefit? Like you are not getting angry, sad. You are able to control your emotions. Good. So one way is meditation. Second way is exercise, physical activity. Yes.
More practice of mocks will keep you calm.
More practice of mocks will keep you calm.
During the exam, because you are in the process.
Yeah, correct, of course, because you are more aware that you can do better. क्या? मम्मी से बात करना. Nice, good. Talking to parents, mentors, your good friends, good friends might help. Then
Analyzing the thoughts, what we are thinking right now.
analyzing your thoughts, why that thought is coming, how to stop that thought. Okay. Anyone else? Somebody who has gone through nirvana? Yes. Yeah, you tell me, no? Achha, you are asking a question. Okay. How to tackle them? So I think that's what, like GS 1, 2, 3, if you divide them into all subtopics, and if you are aware of the concepts and everything, if you keep reading secure current affairs related to that, that will take care of the problem. And in most of the mocks, nowadays you have seen the weird way people set papers, right? डराने के लिए आपको, to show that we are more smart. So we tend to cover those kind of questions in most of the mocks, right? Start early. That integrated preparation will take care of those kind of topics, right? Yeah, to answer that question, like how to remain, just understand the nature of the life, right? Be open to failures, be open to criticism, and be always prepared for the worst. In your mind, somewhere in your mind, be always prepared for the worst. Now we keep looking only at the success angle. This examination, I want to succeed. वो डर रहता है which you don't want to talk about it. That if I fail if I fail prelims, that kind of fear is there, which you don't want to address. It is sitting inside you, right? So you be prepared, like
So, pessimism is always healthy.
No, it is not pessimism, like
Realism.
real. No, you are aware of the reality, right? It can go this way or either way. But as I said in the very beginning of the session, you are preparing yourself. You are doing in your capacity everything to address the uncertainty part, right? So being better prepared, but then being aware that the world is not plain, it doesn't go as expected, actually helps you. So मुझे ऐसा लगता है कभी कोई अंदर आके मार भी सकता है, गाली दे भी सकता है, ठीक है. So no, of course nobody is, it's not like fear or anything, but if somebody says it's okay, fine, मारो और क्या पे मारो, ठीक है, क्या करना है करो, ठीक है. So you don't have like fear about anything. I'm just giving normal example. अगर क्लास में अगर कोई क्वेश्चन पूछेगा जो मुझे पता नहीं है, ठीक है, सर ऑफ कोर्स आई डोंट नो एनीथिंग, आई डोंट नो एवरीथिंग, यू सडनली आस्क हाउ जीडीपी इज कैलकुलेटेड, अरे मुझे क्या पता है, राइट. सो आई विल टेल आई डोंट नो, पूछो निर्मला सीतारमन से, ठीक है. So being honest, like you don't know, right? So now I'm not afraid you are going to judge me. इसको कुछ पता नहीं है फिर भी पढ़ा रहा है, right? Right. Yes. No. You read them, but don't put them as your hobby or interest. Self-help books, they help, of course. But again, as a hobby, it won't help because you are reading one self-help books, Atomic Habits, and then वो नहीं कर रही आप Atomic Habits, and then suddenly you are going for another self-help books, वो भी follow नहीं कर रही. So if you are implementing in your life, follow any one, strategy that actually works. As an interest, you can read a number of books, to tell others. So yeah, so I mean it might help, you can tell others. But I don't personally find it good when some people mention reading self-help books as hobby in their DAF, right? So these books should be substantial, like better books. They are good, but I don't know. I don't find what to talk. Like if somebody write like reading self-help books is the hobby, now what question should I ask? मैं SHG के बारे में पूछूंगा. सो सेल्फ हेल्प बुक के बारे में लिखा है, ओके टॉक अबाउट SHG, सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स के बारे में बताओ, वो भी पढ़ते हैं क्या ये बुक्स? नो आई एम जस्ट किडिंग, बट आई डोंट नो, लाइक इट डजंट initiate a conversation or a discussion. So people don't talk about motivation in real interview, right? Yeah. Yes.
Sir, is it true UPSC wants to have people who have personality trait like writer, blogger, or poet rather than administrator or lawyer?
Is it also?
Sir, is it true UPSC wants to have person who have personality trait like poet, writer, or blogger rather than administrator or lawyer? So you said you have to write answer daily.
Hmm.
So these are traits of the person who has writing mind of mind like writer or blogger, they enjoy writing, and the person like who have administrative or lawyer background, they don't enjoy writing. They are engaged in.
आप आर्मी से हो आप? एक्स देखने से पता चलता है. Good, please sit down. Thank you. So his question is that does UPSC want like writers, poets, bloggers, novelists and all? So the idea is not that, right? Having these kind of interests will make you more creative, more thoughtful in your thinking, and you are aware of so many realities, imaginary, the real things. Your worldview has expanded, right? So the horizons, what we say, understanding, it has expanded. So we can have a very good conversation with you. Now you have to match their intellectual hunger, right? So you have to some kind of satisfy that. So they have read, they have got wide experience, even experience in administration also has enriched them, right? They know about the issues, about the policies. So they would like to have a very good meaningful conversation. So towards that, this writing answers will deepen your understanding. That is the argument. So I am not asking you to do mechanical writing just to remember the facts or examples, or just to become a writer or anything. It's about improving your personality. So some people, without them, somebody can be a Bharatanatyam dancer, still they have a great personality without writing anything. That is also a hobby. Sports person, they are also there. But writing answers and all, I was talking about the larger scheme of things, right? So where in the examination also it will help writing better essay and all, because ultimately it's about marks. To get more marks, you should have an advantage. ठीक है, आप भी लिखना शुरू करो, ठीक है? Yes, fine.
When I used to monthly current affair sheet, then I thought that what I did was not at a level, and the coaching institute that I prepared my career was more structured. So am I doing the repetitive work also?
It's repetitive in my opinion, right? So already we are all giving ready-made. So from only mains topics you make notes, where you are getting good examples, something like that, as a value addition part. But don't try to make current affairs notes from every day, from newspapers, already current affairs which we are giving. So topic wise, for all the topics you should have notes from current affairs, that you can do from monthly compilation. Like nowadays we suggest from secure compilation, that secure synopsis, ready-made content is already there, from there you make the notes for value addition. But the thinking and all should always be improved by reading actual newspaper, the current affairs, the editorial part. So don't repeat the work, you just take, so use OneNote, Evernote, right? Fasten the work, revise it multiple times, come and write the answer. So apply that knowledge. So focus should be more on that part. Okay. Hmm. So he is asking a very good question, like you are saying that thinking is important. So how do we know that we are not overthinking? To what extent we need to think, right? So to what depth we need to think? See, for that you have already two guides, one in terms of previous year papers, in terms of the syllabus, right? Now Buddhism ke upar, what are all the questions that the exam has asked? So you collect some 10 questions that UPSC asked about the topic Buddhism, right? So that will give you the answer. Now when you pick up a source and when you are aware of all the 10 questions about Buddhism, you know that there are certain things which are too deeper, right? That is one logic. Second one is, it should be based on common sense, it should be applicable in day-to-day life, right? If you are having a conversation, it shouldn't be too deep that the other person is not making sense out of it, right? So it should be enough to create a conversation around the topic, right? So not like exhibition of knowledge, talking abstract things that nobody understands. Coming to stopping the overthinking problem, which is evident in prelims or even while writing mains, I think this exercise will help. First you know the boundaries, right? So like when you read NCERT topics, to what depth they have given, I think that is the depth you need to understand, to put it very simply, right? In terms of ideas, but example and all you can enrich, by referring other sources. So, shall we conclude? No? You want something more? What? If you have any doubts, so I addressed the issue of paper 1, how to improve the score, answer writing helps, full length test helps, and then daily mocks, daily MCQs, and then I talked about essay writing, optional you should do, CSAT you should do, then anything is left. The hobbies part also addressed, yes. How to avoid silly mistakes. So how do you avoid silly mistakes? Practicing, repeating. Yeah, so the silly mistakes usually arise from your inability to trust your own judgment, right? In some cases, the silly mistake, the answer, like somewhere you don't want to trust it. So I floated a theory with respect to prelims, right? So I talked about intuition part. So in prelims what happens? Objective questions. In objective question, the moment you look at the objective question, some inner voice tells you that this is the answer. The first interface, you look at the question, you see that this is the answer, and then the analysis starts, right? So then you start analyzing, okay, why am I believing that this is the answer? Have I read it somewhere? You try to recall from notes, and you try to apply common sense also. Does it make sense? Something like this, right? So there should be a boundary to that, the thinking part you are doing. Now the silly mistake is because there is this dilemma, whether this is the right answer or that is the right answer, like should I go with this option or not? right? Now you know for sure, again after coming out of exam you know that that was the right answer which I thought first, but somehow I marked it wrong, I marked it somewhere. So then you say it as silly mistake, right? So to avoid that, the only solution is practice. It sounds very simple, but the theory I was talking about is that you have to strengthen that inner voice, the subconscious level, wherever you have familiarized yourself with so many things. Like I was giving the example of Buddhism, for example. If you have solved like say like 10, 20, 30 questions on Buddhism, right? So in the exam, let's say you have solved 30 questions exactly in Buddhism. So in the actual prelims, when there is a question on Buddhism, you know 30 ways to eliminate your options in the question on Buddhism. For sure you know 30 different dimensions, right? So that is what you need to do. So try to do more questions on one topic from different dimensions and revise them. So that for sure you can eliminate them. So that you can trust your intuition, that inner voice gets strengthened with all your experiences, and this is an experience part when you do more number of questions. Yes?
Suppose we follow editorial of any newspaper,
Hmm.
and for current affairs part we follow any coaching.
Hmm.
How
How
much
much?
it will be helpful?
No, it will be very helpful. No, in fact, what I suggest is that for current affairs, like because we produce so much of current affairs, if somebody is doing daily current affair quiz, secure synopsis, even that much is enough, right? If you have already spent 1 or 2 years, if you are a fresher, read editorials, right? Do the current affair quiz, and any 1 monthly compilations, right? You don't even read daily current affairs also, right? So monthly compilation, any institution, just stick to that compilation. No. Old newspapers क्यों पढ़ते हो? They have a specific purpose, right? Old newspapers. क्या purpose है? So don't read old newspapers. Go with old compilations, no monthly compilations. Quiz compilations, start with quiz compilations, and then you can go with current affair compilations. But you cannot go back to monthly compilation of insights like January, so it's not possible. So go with quiz compilations. Somebody wanted to ask here also. So all of you really are involved, right? यहाँ पे. You're learning something here. Learning something new? Yeah. Yes? Yeah. So if you're reading daily, making, like if you have notes, if you have compiled them somewhere, you have to compulsorily revise that source. But if you are not revising daily, you are not revising your own source, the same current affair, like for example our monthly compilation is our daily compilation. If you are doing our daily current affairs, revising our monthly compilation actually helps, right? So that reinforces.
So now, there's prelims 30, mains 30, weekly compilation and monthly compilation just from Insights. So like sir, what would you suggest, like how to go about it, because there's so much confusion now that there's a daily current affair as well. So too much to read
तो सब एक ही कंटेंट है, डेली जो आता है ना उसको वी हैव डिवाइडेड इट एक्चुअली.
and weekly and then monthly and
Whatever is coming daily, it is like if some people have the weekly revision habit. We thought those who have weekly revision habit, for daily revision, daily PDF we are giving. If somebody wants to do weekly revision, then go with week. So 4-week compilation is nothing but what we are releasing as mains 30 or mains prelims 30, similar content, right? Some people have the habit of only, those who are good with prelims and everything, they just want mains part of the current affairs in a monthly basis. So choose it according to your needs. So that is something like we want to address. We want to widen the choices, capability approach.
So doing editorials from newspaper and then going through the compilation of monthly compilation of insights will do.
Yes, daily newspaper and monthly compilation of insights will actually help.
Daily only editorials.
You can do that, but quiz, current affair quiz, that is must. So all of you are confident that you are going to crack exam, prelims? Everyone? कुछ लोग ऐसे ऐसे कर रहे हैं, मतलब कुछ लोग ऐसे ऐसे कर रहे हैं. Yes. Hmm. Yes, yes. Hmm. So that is the answer writing part. For example, we saw 9 questions where one pair is correct, 2 pair is correct, 3 pair is correct, something like that. So there, it's not about elimination, it's about certainty. For 100%, you should be 100% sure that this is right and this is wrong, right? So in a way, it is kind of rote learning, like you have to memorize the stuff, but again you cannot memorize everything, right? So in your capacity, what you can do based on the breadth of the syllabus, you try to do it, but don't get affected by it. So the better preparation, deepening up, in these analytical question, 4-5 statement questions, only answer writing will help. So if you have written, say 10 answers on artificial intelligence, let them give 10 statements. Under artificial intelligence question, you know the answer. But if you have read like 2 articles on artificial intelligence, but if you haven't written any answer or essay on that, those 5 questions will confuse you a lot. So answer writing, everyone do it. Like what is stopping you?
So about making notes of issues like for meals.
Hmm.
जैसे कि monthly compilation में बहुत सारे issues होते हैं और newspaper में daily आते हैं regulars.
Hmm.
तो किस type के issues को हम रखें notes बना के?
Anything that has relevance to main syllabus, right? For example, like Representation of People Act, quasi judicial bodies. If something is in news with a substantial impact on the large number of population, say national issue, bigger issue, immediately make notes of it. Once you make notes of it, stop doing again, because it keeps getting repeated, right? Only if there is something new, any new fact, new example is there, maybe you can add to that, but don't keep making notes of the same topic.
I have a flow of study. Like for 7 days, I will study and a flow. If the flow breaks, then 1 to 2 days will just like.
Only 1-2 days.
So how to convert that?
For how many people it happens? He is saying for 7 days he studies. If he doesn't study for 1 or 2 days, then it affects the flow. For how many people it happens? So for all humans it happens. See, like majority class, everybody faces it. Now, you should be smart, you should be aware to come back to the normal routine as soon as possible. It's a common problem with everyone, with me also, with you also, with big people also, right? Sadhguru also. So everybody has a problem. I don't think every day he does meditation. Yeah. Daily current affairs. So we are not uploading it every day. So I'll get it done. So daily uploading a PDF of current affairs and questions you want. कुछ लोग छोड़ भी, like they leave over Telegram channel. If you post too many things on Telegram, so we thought we'll put only minimum things. We'll do that. That is not an issue. We'll do it.
So when I was solving the prelims mock test, I was able to complete it in 2 hours, but at the exam day,
Took more time.
Time is less.
Hmm.
Should I give mock test in 1.5 hours or less time?
So try to give in less time only. So I have a target of 1 hour 45 minutes. So in the beginning 1 hour 30 minutes, but you have to be adaptable. Yeah. So when it comes to again being indomitable and conquering prelims, this adaptability is important. See, suddenly when you are faced with uncertainty, you get unsettled, anxious, right? So like I have seen many people coming and telling me that, so in mocks, if I was attempting 80, 90, I was getting very good score, but in the exam I was unable to attempt more than 60 or 70. Suddenly, I became anxious or something. So that adapting according to the demand of the situation is very important, right? No, there you are like deeply involved, like you're too conscious about the occasion, you are thinking too much, right? Yes, you don't want to make any mistake, right? You are like closely reading and all. So take the same seriousness in mock test also when you are giving offline mocks, and try to solve offline mocks within 1.5 hour or 1 hour 45 minutes. तो हम लोग ऐसे वैसे क्वेश्चन दे देंगे आपको, ठीक है? So we'll increase the length of the question even in mocks. Maybe we can do that. Otherwise, it's about these factors only. Other than that, you are still capable of doing the same UPSC exam in 1.5 hours also. It is just, it's a very special occasion. You are too cautious about it. Yes. Okay. So our question is that she is a beginner. When she is writing answer, she is crossing the word limit, and she is writing more content than the demand of the question. So how do we structure according to the demand of the question? Okay. So of course it's purely mains discussion. So in the beginning, like this is one problem I see now. But if somebody is writing mains or going to write mains, be aware that crossing word limit is not accepted in the exam, right? If you write less, it is rewarding. If you can be precise to the point, if you can convey more in minimum words, it is rewarded in the actual mains exam. So towards that you have to practice, so that you should be aware of it. Good. So how to do that? How do we do that? First you should know the demand of the question. Like read question. Many people read it once or twice, and then they start anything that is familiar in the question. If there is a keyword, one topic about which you have more information, right? They start writing what they know in the answer, not what question is asking, right? You tend to write what you know more in the answer than what the question is asking. So first understand the demand of the question. While reading the question, split question into parts, right? Like there may be 2 parts, 3 parts. It can be a statement based question. Even then you can create 2 or 3 parts. So once you have divided question into parts, allocate weightage to each part. Now again read the question. So which part of the question is more important than the other parts? Got it? So for each part, allocating weightage means first part, does it require more number of space, more number of point, more space or more number of point, 3 points, 4 points, right? One question can be where the solution challenges can be more important than the just what is examine the features or something, right? So you should understand that part, allocating weightage, and then in mind you have to structure it. For this part only 2 points I will write, for another part I will write only 3 parts, for another I will write 4 parts, because that is more important, that is the key demand of the question. Got it? So once you have to internalize this thing, the moment you read, you know the key demand. So evaluator is looking more content, more analysis, whatever it is, depending on the directive word, that part. So it comes with practice. Similarly I told her to write introduction. You start reading the question, start writing this skeleton only in the beginning. Every day you take up 5 questions, write only the skeleton part, the parts, right? So slowly moving, just fill enough content to make it more precise and to the point. And you should know whether you are spending unnecessary words, explanation. That may not be the demand. You may be explaining things, right? So avoid explanation, unnecessary words you can avoid. So I think you can look at rank 1 copy this year. So the GS 1, 2, 3 copies, they are the best I have seen so far. The way she writes introduction, the way she has written very precisely to the point. She hasn't unnecessarily dumped content, right? So there is a Even when she has written in a short, sweet manner, there is a flow in the argument, right? So I think you can refer, but don't refer the presentation, right? Now everybody will try to present in similar manner, so develop your own originality in structure and presentation, but the flow you can refer to our copies. Done. So you people are really enthusiastic today. One last question. मास्क हटा दो यार, मास्क हाँ. So you got his question. I got your question. Yes. So he is saying that the country is going through so many issues. There are like sensational issues, media sensationalized issues. Twitter, we see so many trends happening on disturbing issues. So sometimes he is saying that affects his preparation, like daily thinking. So does it happens to everyone? I don't think it happens to everyone. It affects. ऐसा लगता है कि मैं भगत सिंह बनूं, बॉम्ब लगा दो.
No, actually, when we write answer, there are so many things which we shouldn't write, so it keeps on going in our head, but we can't say or.
So which we call it as echo chamber effect.
Yes.
On the when you are going through media, right? So what you are worried about, the same thing is bombarded by the algorithms, Facebook, Instagram, I mean this Twitter and everything. So one thing is stay away from social media. Nandini still do not have Facebook account, Twitter account. Nandini Kyar, who got rank 1, right? Still do not have. Jaydev rank 5, who got, still do not have any. He was not there, he is still not there in the social media. Right, these people whom I closely know, I know them. So one thing is having control. You can unfollow me and uninstall your Twitter. Or if you think Twitter as a stress buster, follow only good people, the productive thing. So in my Twitter, all I get is the good thoughts in my Twitter timeline. So I have unfollowed all negative, toxic people totally, right? So only the positive people, and I get only these animal rescue videos and good videos, where suddenly somebody overcomes some difficulty thing and emerges hero kind of stuff, and so these kind of positive things. You are seeing that somewhere you are not. I feel like nothing is happening in the country. I am really not aware of what you are talking about right now. Like past, especially since prelims, I am busy meeting people and all. Sometimes I struggle like what to tweet. कुछ तो करना लगता है ना.
ANI news.
What?
ANI.
हाँ. वो भी it depends on what you read actually regularly. वो आता है ANI लेकिन क्या है? But it depends on what you follow, like the mind. The second thing is you have to be very busy with what you really like most, right? So if you love the preparation, if you like reading books, I mean that is where I said read books, fiction, non-fiction and all. So if you like doing these things, I don't think priority is important in life. What is priority? And of course all of you know that you should worry about only about what you can actually control. Right now, sitting here now, suddenly you cannot go back on the street, you cannot go back to parliament, change the things. You cannot enter, think tank or those who are planning something big. You cannot stop it, right? So in your ability, what you can do is that you can become better individual. So better administrator tomorrow. वो गांधी वाला कोट है ना? That's what everybody knows. Be the change you want to see in the world, something like that. So it affects, like it's a very normal thing, but whenever it affects, I watch comedy videos. For me, whenever it affects, I watch some kind of comedy video, some kind of gossips also I read. Gossip matlab entertainment gossip. So Alia Bhatt is pregnant. So हमें वाइफ के साथ यही डिस्कशन होता है ना. So of course no offense or anything, like I shouldn't talk about it live on YouTube, right? We are trying to find conspiracy within that. So something like gossip we do, and then like ऐसे हंसते हम लोग, भूल गए पता नहीं क्या कहाँ पे क्या बॉम्ब लगाया और कुछ नहीं. Some people say it is ignorance. Ignorance is bliss. No, being an individual, you should be concerned about country, right? So the country is going through these kind of issues. So these kind of people are destroying peace, dividing the country. Do something about. मैं क्या करूँ, like? So what can I do? Like when you come, I can only tell you, right? इसके ऊपर ऐसे लिखो. ठीक है. ऐसे में इसको ये इशू मत डालना, ठीक है. तो इफ यू राइट दिस इशू इन द एसे, दे विल टारगेट यू. सो वो भी नहीं लिखो. तो इन ए वे आई एम एक्चुअली हेल्पिंग यू, overcome these kind of things. So all of you cannot do anything. Like we all have our own small spheres of influence, right? So we have to use. For example, mine expanded when I entered Twitter. So there I am trying to create a better environment, some positivity spread karo if you can. So if you want to spread love, you do it. Spread kindness, everybody can do. So I like doing that. I am doing that. I also have the option of creating divisions, right? So that I don't want to do, because I really want to sleep 8 hours a day. Every day. Even nowadays school also, they used to wake us up 5 o'clock. I would make sure that I would sleep 8 hours. Even today 8 to 9 hours I sleep. लोगों को ऐसे लगता है बहुत हार्ड वर्किंग है तो सोता ही नहीं है, तो बहुत काम कर रहे हैं. ऐसे नहीं है, आराम. So I sleep for 8 hours आराम से. So I listen, well before going to sleep I listen to Jiddu Krishnamurti thoughts, or I read some one or two pages only, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं होता. रील देखने का मन करता है, ठीक है. So when I open the reel, suddenly I see that all पता नहीं क्या क्या करते हैं रील्स में आजकल, right? And then I watch Jiddu Krishnamurti thing 1 or 2, like पता नहीं नींद आ जाती, पता नहीं चलता वो क्या बोला है, लेकिन so you put it here, I listen for like 2 minutes, you are already sound sleep. Then suddenly you wake up in the morning, ये इधर गिरा है, ये इधर गिरा है, ठीक है. तो पता ही नहीं चलता वो क्या बोला है. I haven't listened any full talk of J Krishnamurti more than like 2-3 minutes. तो दिन में तो नहीं मिलता टाइम देखने के लिए. सो नींद में पता नहीं क्या बोला है. आई अज्यूम दैट कुछ तो गया होगा अंदर सबकॉन्शियस में, वो बोल रहा था ना, इंट्यूशन सबकॉन्शियस गया होगा, इसलिए अच्छा बंदा बना होगा, राइट. जोर से बोलो. हाँ. I am not able to hear, like, can sum it up somebody? I heard like we have to become humble. बाहर आने के बाद क्या होता है? बहुत ज़्यादा सेल्फिश, मतलब दूसरे लोग सेल्फिश होते हैं. अच्छा, तुम काइंड एंड हम्बल हो, दूसरे लोग सेल्फिश. सो हाउ टू डील विद दैट? सबको नवोदय भेजो, नवोदय स्कूल, ठीक है. सो हाउ डू वी डील? दैट्स व्हाट, नो, द वर्ल्ड इज नॉट प्लेन. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. Everyone is not reasonable. Everyone is not understanding, caring, kind, peaceful. सबका अलग अलग कंडीशनिंग होता है. सो एक जिड्डू कृष्णमूर्ति का एक थॉट है विच आई रियली लाइक मोर. आई थिंक लास्ट यहीं पे बोला था मैंने शायद, आई डोंट नो, क्लासरूम सेम दिखता है. सो द थॉट इज दैट वी ऑल शेयर द कॉन्शियसनेस. So your consciousness, my consciousness is same. We are all humans, but the consciousness that we all of us have is same. You may be girl, you may be boy, you may be rich, you may be poor, you may belong to lower caste or higher caste, another religion. But what is uniting all of us is the human consciousness. So it is pure, unadulterated, it doesn't have any identity. Any religion, nothing. So knowing that your consciousness is part of my consciousness, right? So what you own, what you are, is also who I am. So then all divisions melt away, right? So you have to understand that if somebody is selfish, even then some part of you also selfish, right? So I cannot label somebody as better, good, bad, and myself as the best or something. I am also imperfect, they are also imperfect. The degree ranges, varies, right? So we have to learn to accept everyone, deal accordingly. So when you, I think, treat everyone with humility, kindness, even if they are arrogant, they appreciate it. Even if they are selfish, I think they will appreciate it. We should not give up our values because someone else is not responding or reciprocating. I think कुछ ज़्यादा ही बोल रहा हूँ आजकल. तो आप पूछ रहे तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ, मेरा कुछ गलती नहीं है. एक मिनट, ये अप्रिशिएट कर रहा है. हाँ. See, what saved me was purely hobbies and interests, right? So somewhere I cultivated blogging hobby or writing hobby. So I was always interested to write something about the issue I was like. I used to get enraged about the things, like blood boil होता था, तो I used to गुस्सा लिखने में दिखाता था. So after the attempt, I somehow loved doing that, continued doing that. So that actually saved my career. So during preparation, these were all common, demotivation, वो लव गिव होता है ना सब. सो ऑल दिस पर्सनल प्रॉब्लम्स, पेरेंट्स के साथ झगड़ा करना, गुस्सा दिखाना उनके ऊपर, ठीक है, खाना वाना ये करना, ठीक है, घर में होते तो एक सब करते हैं ना हम लोग, गुस्सा दिखाते हैं पेरेंट्स को. सो आई यूज्ड टू डू दैट. सो यूज्ड टू फील वेरी बैड कि मैं क्यों गुस्सा दिखा रहा हूँ पेरेंट्स के ऊपर, फादर मदर. पता नहीं दे वर एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड और लाइक absorb all these things. These are all common, everybody goes through, but you have to understand that you have a bigger purpose to achieve in life. Yeah, just to answer very briefly what kept going, big thinking. Like I have always been ambitious. School days also, now also, then also. I think being ambitious is one of the reason this little success is possible. बट आप लोग देखेंगे 10 साल के बाद और कुछ होगा. 15 years you will see me in some other thing. 20 years later some other thing. So as long as I am alive, you will definitely see progress. You can witness that. पता नहीं तुम IAS हो, मैं और कुछ भी हो. I don't know what it is. Nobody knows. That is what everyone should have, that big thinking in your ambition, in daily preparation. The way you write answer, the way you write essay. That ambitious thinking is something which takes you near to that level, where people start appreciating it, right? In your thinking, in your answers. So people start noticing that, that ambition. And ambition is not overthinking. Okay? So ambition is higher thinking. I think both ज़्यादा हो गए, so we'll stop. So thank you so much. Yeah, you have. Hmm. Yeah, right. Now we are taking a new classroom in another 10-15 days. So only for the test center. So that will be more spacious. So यहाँ पे classes चलता है ना, so that is the reason. So then we can put a slot for tests, I think. We'll do that. Okay, thank you. So thank you all. Wish you all the best. So go conquer the prelims. Be indomitable. Thank you. जो YouTube देख रहे हैं आप भी, आपको भी